are home. Everybody is welcome. Binto Bantaban community, come home. It's Sunday. Who do we have here? Oh my gosh. We have a legend, a veteran. Ndesan. Thank you, Jelly. Thank you, thank you. Are you guys up and running? We are ready. We are ready, we are ready, we are ready. Please come on and join us. We have Honorable Omar Amadou Jallow, known as OJ. Honorable OJ is home. We want to see your text if you can hear us. We are up and running. Thank you. If you are up and running, we are home. If you can hear us, yes, we are home. I am ready. I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Yes. Yes, who is there? I have to play this one. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Kano. Keba, thank you. If y'all can hear us clearly. I have to play this one? Yes, Uncle OJ is in. We appreciate y'all.
Thank
As
you.
usual.
Thank you very much.
We do? Our motto is respect. We cannot learn anything with insult. We bring legends here, veterans, our leaders to educate us.
That's
So
good.
we demanded respect. I mean, I demanded respect. My guest is special to me and to people that are here with good intention. Yes. Thank you, Uncle OJ. I have to keep playing this for a minute.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. I'm also enjoying it.
He is in, he is in. What do we know? We haven't even grown up enough yet to know anything yet. So we have to get the right people to educate us.
That's
We
right.
need to know. When we say PPP, People's Progressive Party, do we know it from yesterday? Oh no, we were not even born. Yes, we were not. Thank you all. If you're on Facebook, please subscribe us and like. Text us so we will know you are on YouTube too. YouTube subscribers. Facebook, thank you. Facebook, you have to follow the page and like it so you will not miss anything. I'm not rushing today because I have him. I am not rushing. I'm not.
Take your time.
Very. Thank you, Jali. Naniolem, thank you, thank you. All right, we are about to get going. Thank you, Jali. Jali, hold on. We are here. We are up. We are up. We are ready. Uncle OJ, assalamu
Yes.
alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Jata.
Uncle OJ.
Jata.
Jataba, yes. Uncle OJ, this platform, we call it grassroots.
That's right.
We are young politicians. We have interest in politics. But before you can do politics, you have to hear where it started first. Especially people like you. That's why we invited you. I call you a legend. I call you a veteran. They will know by the end of this show why I give you all these names.
That's right.
Will know. I will know myself. So, Facebook friends, community, you are welcome as usual.
Thank you.
we demand respect from everybody. If you insult on this page from now, I will block you. So let's do the real thing. I have to be real with you. So if you are on Facebook right now, you can share this information we're about to share. Share it, let people know. We have Uncle OJ here, Amadou, Omar Amadou, Jallow, Honorable, is here. So Uncle OJ, I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying Uncle OJ.
Yes, okay.
Yes, Uncle OJ, you are welcome. This is Binto Bantaba Network.
Thank you.
You are welcome to our platform. We want you to be our lecturer today.
Thank you very much, Binto. I am so happy and honored to be invited to your platform and your Bantaba today to discuss with you as our young future leaders of Gambia.
Thank you.
That the young people and the destiny of the Gambia is now in your hands, because that's what we all prayed for, to have children who can take over from us and lead the nation to a better future. I congratulate you and commend you for having the initiative to establish this Bantaba to assist in enlightening the Gambians. And one thing I am proud of you people is when you emphasize the need for respect. In Gambian politics, we never ever had hatred, we never had insults, or we never had people fighting each other. We see each other as colleagues. And as I always say, we see each other as Domi Bajen. We laugh at each other, we treat each other as colleagues, you know. That time, anything that happens in Serekunda, in the NCP, I'm there. Anything happens in PPP, the NCP people are in my home. That's what we know. But now in the social media, the insult that I'm hearing, that is not Gambian. That is not what we were taught by our farmers, by our fathers and our mothers. That's why I'm happy about your forum and your network, that you talk about respect, you talk about peace. Please carry on educating the young people that Gambia belongs to all of us, and we should treat each other with respect and believe and respect each other's beliefs and opinions. We are all Gambians. We have the same rights. We have the same citizenship. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We will go just straight to the point. Who is Honorable Omar Amadou Jallow, known as OJ? Uncle OJ.
Well, Omar Amadou Jallow is a Gambian whose father, Alhaji Amadou Jallow, was born in 18 Perseverance Street in Banjul. And Amadou Jallow's mother, who was a Christian before and was called Mary Nong, was born in 16 Perseverance Street. My mother came from Sierra Leone with his parents and settled in Birkama and got married to my father. And my father's first home was in Old Yundum. Omar Amadou Jallow was born in Old Yundum on October 26, 1946. And then my father in 1947 moved to Serekunda so that we can start going to school. I started my Quranic education in my father's home, where we had the biggest Quranic school then in the KMC, run by one of my father's first cousins, Alaji Momodu Mukhtar Li, the father of Imam Babali. And then he was living in my father's home. And because my father was the first person to build a mosque in his own home in Old Yundum and in Serekunda, Mukhtar Li was the imam of the mosque and the head and running the madrasa also. And then my father made it a law that every child has to go to the madrasa for 1 year before you go to start European education. Therefore, I started my primary school, my madrasa school in 1953. And after 1 year in 54, I started my primary education in St. Teresa School, Carnifing. And in 1960, I sat for the common entrance, and I was fortunate to be the only student in the school that year, not only to pass the common entrance, but to have scholarship. All the others have entrance, whereby government pays everything for me in my high school, and not my father. So I went to St. Augustine's in 1961 and took my O levels in 1966. After that, I joined the cooperative and went to the cooperative college in Yundum, and then worked with the cooperative as an inspector for 6 years before joining politics and contested elections in Serekunda in 1972 and failed. That year, government established the Gambia Commercial and Development Bank, and I was employed there as the public relations officer. In 1974, end of 73, October 73, I was sent to Ghana to study development financing for 18 months. And I came back in 74, and I was promoted to deputy manager in the development wing under Badu Faye. In 1977, I resigned again when most of my family and friends didn't want me to resign, and contested again in Serekunda East and won, and became the parliamentary secretary for the Ministry of External Affairs for 4 years, from 1977 to 1981. In 1981, Sadauda decided to establish the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources, Forestry, and the Environment, and decided that I should, at that age of 33, head that ministry as the first minister to head that ministry. I headed that ministry from 1981 to 1989. And then I was moved to the Ministry of Agriculture in 1989 till 1994, when the government of the PPP was overthrown by the misguided army officers of the Gambian army, which was established by.
Okay, we always when we say Honorable OJ, we think of, our minds go straight to agriculture. We did. Thank you for telling us you were Minister of Fisheries. We didn't even I didn't even know that. So maybe most people don't knew that either. When we say agriculture, we say, oh, that's Honorable OJ right there. Yes. Before we go into PPP, if you can give us some history about the Gambia, we will be.
About, sorry?
I say, if you can educate us about the Gambia before PPP came into power. We want to know what system of governance was in place before the PPP, before independence.
Yes, before independence, we had the colonial government, the white people, the British. Mm-hmm. Then Gambia was underdeveloped. There was no development in Gambia. The white people were just there for their interest. That is why even when Africans started having independent countries, the British thought that Gambia can never, ever be a country on its own. So they were negotiating with the French so that Gambia will be the 7th region of Senegal. So that just shows how underdeveloped, how abandoned Gambia was by the British.
Okay, so but we pay taxes then to them. How was our system of taxation?
Yeah, the colonialists were there just to exploit Africa. And still they are doing it. Because we Africans have not still learned our lessons. Because before the white people came to Gambia, or even to Africa, the whole of the West Coast that we call ECOWAS now had two kingdoms, the kingdom of Mali, the kingdom of Ghana. And all these countries that we now call these small, unviable entities that we call countries, were under one kingdom and one king. And these two kingdoms were so close that they have emissaries like ambassadors, we call them now, at each other's kingdom. But the white people came knowing that if they leave us united, it might be difficult for them to rule us. But if they divide us, that will be easy. And that's what they did. That's why we now have Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone. All these countries before belonged to one kingdom, the kingdom of Mali, with the king in Mali. That is why the white people have never come to Africa to develop Africa. They came purposely to exploit. And this started since when we have the slave trade and then colonialism. That is why I said Africans, we should learn from our mistakes and we should learn from the past to make sure we had a better future for our children and generations to come.
Yeah. Yes. And how and when did we gain our independence? We just want you to walk us through that too.
Yes, when first of all, what I think is the PPP, I think I've given you a small history of the PPP. The People's Progressive Party started with when the colonialists were in Gambia, they marginalized people from the rural area, from the provinces. That until when voting started in the late 40s and the early 50s, only people in the greater Banjul area and the KMC had registered to vote. The people in the provinces were denied the voting rights. So some people in the Gambia, particularly in the greater Banjul and western region, stood on and organized and formed what they call the Provincial People's Society to work and fight against the marginalization and the discrimination that is being made against those who lived in the rural areas. This society, at the end of the time in the early 50s, formed a society and eventually wanted to form a party, the Provincial People's Party. But because most of them, if not all of them, were illiterates, they went around looking for a leader, and they were advised to go and see Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, who was then the director of veterinary services living in Abuko. But he was then one of the few, if not the only two Gambians who were the head of departments. Dr. Jones of the Ministry of Health, of the Department of Health, and Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. When they saw him and convinced him, Sir Dawda told them that then we have to name, if we want to have a party, we should not allow ourselves to copy the white people. The discrimination that the white people did between those living in the colony and those in the rural areas is discriminatory. Let us not allow a party to be called the Provincial People's Party. Let us make sure we have a party that accommodates and opens up to every.
Okay. He will log back in. Y'all be patient with us. He will log back in. Thank you for joining in. If you are on Facebook, please share this information we're about to share with every Honorable OJ is about to share with us. Please do not let it sit here. Let's pay really good attention to this lecture we are having right now. You might learn one thing or the other. So we are honored to have him. Yes, he's coming back. Give us a minute. Okay, there he is. He's back. Welcome back. Uh-huh.
So when we registered the party in 59, we had elections in 62, but then the governor general, the governor who was governor, refused for Sadauda to head the government because he was the executive. He appointed P.S. Njai as the chief minister and Sadauda Keraba Jawara as minister of education and Sirif Sekuba Diba as minister without portfolio. But within 12 months, Sadauda saw that these people don't want Gambia to have independence, but want to convince the leadership of the Gambian political parties to accept the fact that we cannot make it on our own, but we have to join Senegal. Sadauda resigned, and Sirif Diba resigned also. And then Sadauda went to Nigeria to see Dr. Azikwe, who was then the president of Nigeria, and have that man's support. And the first manifesto of the PPP for Gambia's independence now was written in Nigeria. And then we came and they started the campaign for Gambia to be independent. The British saw that they had no other alternative. Then Sadauda, through his wisdom, came into alliance with the other two parties. There were three parties apart from the PPP. The United Democratic Party, the United Party led by P.S. Njai. The Democratic Party, which was the first political party to be registered in Gambia, led by Reverend J.C. Faye. And then you have the Congress Party, led by Jahumpa. I am Gaba Jahumpa. Sadauda went into coalition with the Democratic Party and the Congress Party. And this was called PPP-DCA Congress Alliance that went into elections and then went to negotiate for independence in 1964 and came back, went into independence and won in 65, and we had our independence in February 1965.
Okay. Well, we will not go further without you telling us who is Sadauda Jawara. You know him at a personal level. May his soul rest in peace.
Peace, yes.
Who is that man you knew?
Sadauda Keraba Jawara was a special person, quite different from the other leaders that I see in Africa today, and even before Sadauda. He was very tolerant, very accommodating, very open, and very, he has mercy. And Sadauda respects people's opinions and people's views. That is why he was able to make sure he wins over a lot of the other supporters of other parties, because Sadauda makes sure people have access to him. He listens to them. He accommodates and respects people's views and opinions. And one of his major outstanding values was his respect for human rights and rule of law.
Thank you. Oh boy, thank you, Uncle OJ. Yes, when we say PPP People's Progressive Party. They have ruled the Gambia for almost 30 years.
For 29 years.
Yes. Okay. So for 29 years. So what are some of the accomplishments that PPP government had done for the Gambian people?
That is good. I made some development projects that I posted to Keba Nanko and others, but I'll just show you. I'll send it to you after this program.
Okay.
PPP, when PPP was coming in as a government, we were not even able to pay the civil servants. And for 3 years, we were a state-sponsored nation. All our civil servants and other facilities were paid by the British. Just to show you how backward Gambia was when we were having independence. But after 3 years, Sadauda promoting his policy of Tesito, that is self-reliance, where he declared that no Gambian think that we cannot make it without gold, we cannot make it without diamonds, we cannot make it without oil. We can turn our peanuts into diamonds. And he proved it right. Within 3 years, he stopped the British from supporting us to pay our civil servants. The Gambia Central Bank was established by the PPP, the Commercial and Development Bank, which is today the Trust Bank, the Gambian Port Authority, the Public Transport Corporation, which was destroyed by Yaya Jammeh, the Gambia Berry Ferry Services, the Gambia National Trading Corporation, which was destroyed by Yaya Jammeh, the present National Civil Aviation Authority, and the Gambia Airways were all established under PPP. NAWEC, the Animal and Health Production Unit, the ITC, these were all the Livestock Marketing Board. The present army was established by the Gambia, the Land Reform Commission, the National Arts and Culture Center, the Gambia Training Technical Institute, the Gambia Agricultural and Development Bank, the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation. That is why this corporation was for social security for pensioners and housing finance for low-level government workers. And this was the institution that created the Kanifing Estate and the Backwater Estate under Sadauda Keraba Jawa. The Gambia Telecommunication Company, GAMTEL, the Management Development Institute, of course, and the Kotu Management Services Agencies, and the GAMWorks, and of course, so many other institutions like the Tourism Training Institution, President's Award Scheme, the Independent Stadium, the Women's Bureau, and of course, so many other things were developed by the Gambia. When we were coming to government, Banjul was backward. All the new roads were built by the PPP government. The sewage that is being repaired now by the Adama Barrow government was built by Sadauda, because when we are having independence, we had only in Banjul what we call Dadikama. That every compound has a bowl where everybody go and fishes. In the morning, the Bambaras will come and take it, go and throw it out, and then wash it and bring it back. But Sadauda brought in the sewage system, whereby we can all have flush toilets and then showers, etc., etc. He built, when you are entering Banjul, Sadauda built the Supreme Court headquarters there, those buildings. Sadauda built the BCC president offices. Sadauda, under his government, built the Independence Drive Clinic. Sadauda, under his government, expanded the maternity wing of the Royal Victoria Hospital. Sadauda, under his government, built the children's wing of the RVH in Marina Parade. Sir Dawda, under his government, built the Makati Square stadiums that are there now, build the police headquarters, build the present Albert Market of Banjul, build the Liman Street Clinic. I'm talking only for Banjul. What about the Post Authority? What are the other mentioned? And so many other things. So if people say PPP has not done anything for the Gambia, I said, well, it's unfortunate. Either they were not yet born, or they just want to tarnish and undermine the integrity of the PPP and the PPP leadership.
So since I have you here, you are agriculture. Almost we can say agriculture is Honorable O.J. Jallow. Tell
Correct.
us, yes, I want you to tell us the system that you set up, because you were the first agriculture minister, right? So help us with that. And today's agriculture.
The agriculture under Sir Dawda cannot be compared with today's agriculture. Sir Dawda himself is an agriculturist because livestock building is part of agriculture. That is why, first and foremost, Jahali Pachar, before independence, was called Almamele. That is Almame's land. And who is Almame? Sir Dawda's father. He took it and gave it to the state. And that's why we have now Jahali Pachar. The Jahali Pachar project was headed by Seni Dabo. Then we had the rice development project that was covering Sankule Kunda going up towards Basse, headed by Sidi Jaju. Then we have the small-scale development project of the Nyaminas and the Kiangs and the Jaras, headed by Alfumaron. And then we had the lowland development project that was covering mostly the northern bank of CRR and URR, headed by John Fay. Before 1994, we were producing 53% of all our rice needs. But after the coup d'etat, Yaya Jammeh took part of Jahali Pachar and make it his personal farm, and was inviting farmers to leave their own farms to come and help him farm in his Jahali farm, calling soldiers, civil servants to come and work with him in the farm. I have been minister under Jawara for 13 years. I have never worked under Jawara's garden or farm. Never. Then the production fell from 43% in 1994 to 15% in 2015. Can you imagine how destructive that is to the farming community? I was Minister of Agriculture. We were buying, in 1993, we bought over 200,000 tons of groundnuts. But unfortunately, in 2015, Gambia could buy only 35,000 tons. That shows how poverty has been brought to the farming community by the Jammeh regime. Livestock marketing project was so successful that for the first time we had a yogurt factory at Dankunko in the CRR. And that project was supplying some yogurt to some shops in the urban area. And then we have the cotton project. Sadauda, through his interaction with France was able to build us one of the best cotton refineries, generally, in Basse. And we became the second largest producer of cotton after Mali in West Africa. But can I tell you, after the coup, after 5 years, we have not again exported 1 ton of cotton. As Minister of Agriculture, under ADB, I make sure the women, I gave them all their support in livestock breeding. We used to give them free livestock initially and money. And then I initiated what we call the Tobaski Ram Festival, whereby Gambians will stop going to Senegal and Mauritania and Mali to buy their rams. And this was 80% controlled by women. Yaya Jammeh came and this disappeared. Horticulture. I made sure through the PPP government that that FAO assisted us in so many things that we were exporting horticulture, particularly people in the West Coast region. 90 tons of horticultural produce was exported to England every Thursday through the Radville farms. And all these monies were going to the pockets of women. When the coup took place, after 9 months, Yaya Jammeh declared the management of the Radville farms persona non grata and gave them 72 hours to leave the Gambia. And they are now in Ghana and doing their work in Ghana. This is what happened when I was in agriculture. And what PPP, even before I came to agriculture, Sehu Sabali was there. Because some of the projects I even talked about were there before I came to agriculture.
So, cooperative. When I was growing up, my grandpa worked at cooperative. They call it, we call it kids, we call it Angarot, where they have the ground.
That's right.
Farababanta.
I was the cooperative inspector.
Yes. So tell us about cooperative. Do we need cooperative back now, or how can we modernize?
If we don't have cooperative back, we will not be able to have the farmers to develop as they should. Because by the time we were, our government was overthrown, the present headquarters of NAWEC at Carnifing was owned by the cooperatives. The cooperative movement, which all the committees were headed by local farmers, regionally and nationally, were so successful that they were even now building their own retail shops. And they bought 6 Mercedes-Benz trucks. And I can tell you, most of the cooperative societies used to make it so well that they used to pay bonus to all their farmers. That is why when Amadou appointed me Minister of Agriculture, one of the first things I did was to appoint Bakari Sonko, who was part of the cooperative movement, and Aliuba as consultant to make sure they advise the government on how to re-establish and revive the cooperative movement and the Department of Cooperation, so as to bring together again all the farmers of the Gambia under one umbrella with one objective and one interest, that is to salvage and upgrade and uplift the living standards of the farming community of the Gambia. But unfortunately, I'm no longer there and I don't know what happened.
That's my question. Why do we have to lose you just like that from that position?
Well, that one, I don't want to discuss it.
Okay.
I think the president has
we will try to get him to answer that. We will try to get him to answer that. PPP, let's come to under the side of education.
That's right.
The poor, we can say the rural area, they said they were forgotten, their children were not educated. PPP government did not even build one high school. What do you say to that?
That is the biggest untruth. I don't talk lies because I don't want to insult you.
Mm-hmm.
When the PPP was taking over the government in 1965,
Mm-hmm.
there were 46 primary schools in the Gambia and 5 secondary schools and 1 vocational training center. From 1965 to 1994, we have 262 primary schools, 38 secondary schools, and 17 secondary technical schools. And really, the PPP government established the Management Development Institute, the Rural Development Institute, the School of Nursing, the Birkama College, the Non-Formal Education Center, the Cooperative Training Center, the GTTI, the Management, the MDI, and then the Gambia Chairman Self-Development Center, NARI, to Tourism Development Institute, of course, the National Agricultural Research NARI, and of course, we have the President Award Scheme where we were training young people to have skills. So if anybody wants to tell me that the MDI, the GTTI, the RDI, NARI, and all the schools that today are the component, particularly the Birkama College, where we were teaching people agriculture, we were teaching people health, we are teaching people nursing, and of course, we have people being taught other things, teaching, education, and etc., which are today the component of the university. And there is a saying in Wolof, before you can thank, balaa ngay mun a gërëm borom ndaal nga gërëm borom teen. Today, all and most of the components of the University of the Gambia were established by the PPP government. No country in the world can establish a university within 2 years because a university is made up of departments and institutions. And all the departments and institutions of the present University of the Gambia were built by the PPP under the leadership of Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara.
Okay. Okay. What do you really think in your own mind? What was the cause of the coup d'etat? Because the juntas, they had claimed that PPP, lack of education, lack of development in the country, the corruption, that's why they decided to do the coup d'etat. But in your own mind, what do you think they had to do?
In my own mind, I think the coup d'etat came because there were some people in uniform who, because of the failures of their families and the failures of their parents to make them what you and me have done, or some other people, took it on themselves to be angry with the government. Like if I have listened for the first statement made by Yaya Jammeh when he won on radio, he said when he was going to Gambia High School, he doesn't have good shoes to wear or good uniform to wear. But some people were coming with cars and with meat and bread. When I was going to school, I don't know where my father gets the meat and bread I take to school or how he paid for my school fees. It is the responsibility of the parents to take care of the child that you brought to this world. And of course, coup d'etat are treasonable crimes. If any of them think that the government was not doing it, take off the uniform and join a political party or form a political party. But let me come to the corruption. Yaya Jammeh set up 3 commissions to investigate different areas of the PPP regime. And the Bamfo Commission was the one to which Sir Dawda and all his ministers who has ever worked under him went to be investigated. And it was decree number 11 that established the Bamfo Commission. And decree number 11 says the commission will sit in public and the report will be made public. Decree number 25 says before the final report is published, it will be sent to all those who came before the commission for them to raise any objection or anything if possible. I am telling you, Binto, up to today, I'm talking to you. None of us, we have heard about all the other two commissions report, but only for the Bamfo Commission report, which would have justified Yaya Jammeh's claim that there was rampant corruption and flamboyant lifestyle in the PPP regime. But up to today, I'm talking to you, none of us, no Gambian, have seen that report of the Bamfo Commission except the members of the Armed Forces Provisional Revolutionary Council, AFPRC. They know they lied to the Gambian people. The PPP government was never a corrupt government. But everybody has seen after Sir Dawda has gone. Go to Barajeli. You have seen on television last week that they are building and trying to help the Jawara family to make a monument of where Sir Dawda was brought up. But go to Kanilai. Kanilai has been built as a city. Where did Yaya Jammeh get that money? We have seen the vehicles. He owned over 50 vehicles. Each of those vehicles cost more than $1 million. Sir Dawda in all his life had 4 vehicles. Yaya Jammeh in Banjul alone had over 10 properties. In Gambia, he had 183 properties. Sir Dawda in all his life had 5 properties. And then, as president of the Gambia, 2 properties. He had only 3 before he became president and 2 when he became president. That is the Wellington Street property and the Fajara. And those ones, when he was building them, he took loans from BICI and Standard Bank. The banks are there and the records are there. Let people go and check it. But how was Yaya Jammeh able to give $4 million to a wrestler from Senegal and the wife and bought them a brand new vehicle? How was it possible for Yaya Jammeh to buy 12 new vehicles and gave it to the president of Guinea-Bissau? How was it possible for us seeing him giving out millions of dollars? And I was very happy and I responded to him when he stood on the platform and said he was a security guard to Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara up to the coup d'etat in 1994. But he has never seen Sir Dawda give anybody more than $1,000. I said yes, because Sir Dawda was not stealing from the coffers of government. He was relying on his salary. But then how was it possible for you to be giving out millions? Now we have seen that during the Janneh Commission, the people who went to collect millions and millions of dollars and dollars from the central bank for the state house. That's the difference. For me, I said anybody who has detected any corruption in the PPP regime, please come forward and I will challenge you, both on television and in public and anywhere. Because the commission that's investigated for 11 months up to today, that report has not been made public. We want to see it.
We didn't even know about, I don't think most people knew about the Bamfo Commission. So we heard more about the Algali Commission. So tell us a little bit more about the Algali Commission. What difficulties did the...
No, the Algali Commission, I was then most of the time I was in prison, because for me, for most of the time I speak out against Yaya Jammeh, and I'm taken to prison. At one time, during this time, I even have to be brought from prison every day to the Bamford Commission. The Algali Commission was dealing with land issues and other issues, I think. And then you have another commission, and then you have one commission that I established even before the coup d'etat that was dealing with the cooperative. And they all made their reports, but the Bamford Commission up to now, we have not seen any report. And that's the main important commission, because that was the commission that deals with Sir Dawda and all his ministers that he has ever appointed. But instead, they went out, seized our properties, seized our vehicles. All the 6 PPP vehicles were seized, and up to today we don't know what it is. Our bureau at Liman Street was seized and is now made the immigration department. Our bureau at Birkama was seized, and it was the headquarters of the Green Boys and the APRC youth wing. Up to today, our accounts, the money has been taken. We don't even know, but now we are going to the commission, because now they are setting commissions to investigate about all these things. For me, I had one property in my 14 years as minister under Jawara. The property where I live today was built for me whilst I was in the commercial bank. And I rented it out for 7 years to pay the bank and continue to live in my father's home, even when I became a minister. The land, the property I was building for 14 years was not even completed when the coup happened. The IJM seized it and sold it.
Okay, PPP was banned. PPP party was banned. And during that time, the constitution, I think in a democratic country like Gambia, PPP shouldn't be banned. And we now see President Barrow is there. APRC is not banned. So why do you think Yaya Jammeh banned PPP?
Yaya Jammeh banned PPP because he knew the powers of the PPP. He not only banned them, but he made it a policy to castigate and say a lot of misinformation and lies about the PPP, to discredit Sadauda and to discredit the PPP. Because he was a dictator. I was the only one who was responding. And anytime I respond, I'm taken to prison. And even some of the newspapers that were carrying my story, some of them were closed. Some of them were burnt. Some of the radio stations were closed. He was a dictator. So everybody was scared. He banned PPP, and he banned the NCP, and banned the GPP, because he knew these were the 3 most organized and powerful political parties in the Gambia. And he doesn't want threat. And he even says that if any of us is seen, the decree that banned us, he said any of us, if he is seen on a political platform, will be fined 5 million or 5 years in prison.
So that's number one difficulty. What other difficulty can you?
Sorry?
I said that's one main difficulty PPP had. What other difficulties do you think PPP had as a party when he came? The commission is there. That's the PPP government. The banning of the PPP is one difficulty. What other difficulties do you think?
Well, the difficulties we had is banning the party, seizing our assets, our car, our vehicles, our offices, and one of our properties in Tobacco Road, where they have now built the IEC. It was the garage of the PPP. And of course, tormenting, arresting, and detaining us, because in 1995, because I was communicating with people, they arrested me with some of my closest friends and some of my closest colleagues politically, like Usain Njai, MC Cham, and 46 other people. We were tortured seriously. I lost my eye. Usain Njai never recovered from the torture that was melted on him. When we left immediately, particularly one of the brothers, Sabali from Soma, died. You can remember, you can even here when the wife came to the TRT, she mentioned my name with what her husband told her, what I have done for her whilst I was in detention. All 46 of us were detained for 14 months with all our injuries. They never allowed one dispenser to come and see us, not to talk about a doctor. Immediately after that, 9 of the detainees passed away within a month of our release. And so many other things. I was detained in 2005. I was so many times. So most of the others, sometimes, of course, I have been a politician and I have politics in my blood. I have been a Pan-Africanist all my life, even in school.
Yes.
So for me, Gambia is more important to me than my life. I was ready for everything. That is why I make sure I went ahead with my against Yaya Jammeh, because I said, when they overthrew Kwame Nkrumah, because we are the Nkrumah boys at that time in St. Augustine High School and Gambia High School, we knew that those who don't like Africa use our military to deter our progress and development. And we have seen that in any country where you have a military government, you have a dictatorship, a despot. Look at all the killings that happened in the last 22 years of Jammeh. It is sad. People have not done anything. Just because they oppose you, you suspect they don't want your government. You kill them without due process. That is why I said, if any military, I have nothing against soldiers, but I am against any soldier who want to use a gun to come into politics. You cannot impose yourself. People have to decide that they want you.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Yes, Uncle AJ, hold on. Hey, community, we are here with Honorable OJ Amadou Jallow, known as Honorable OJ Jallow. All right? We are happy, we are honored to have him. Leave us a comment, respectful as usual. That's our motto. And share us, like the page. And if you're on YouTube, please text us, let us know. Subscribe us over there too. Uncle OJ, now PPP, with after all this, PPP came back again. PPP is back and running. How was PPP registered back, and who are the major players? Major players. Who rolled the carpet for PPP?
Sorry?
I said PPP is back and running.
Yes.
Can you tell us how was it registered back, and who are the major players on the party?
Yes, fortunately, when it was banned, I had a job with the United Nations in East Timor. But after serving there for 1 year, I resigned to come back to Gambia. And on my way back to Gambia, I passed through London to see Sadauda Kereba Jawara. And I have never seen him angry with me. But for that one time, he thought I was crazy for resigning my job and going back to Gambia. But I really maintain I'm going back. Then he advised me strongly that I should not try to participate in any elections, but I should try to make sure we bring all the parties together and make a united front. When I came to Gambia, I went to see Sirif Diba and Hassan Musa Kamara, and we were having meetings together. And I will send you letters, Binto. And I came out to send you. I don't have them. Letters that I have signed with Hassan Musa Kamara and with Hassan Musa and Sirif Mustafa Diba, that we address to Yaya Jammeh, to ECOWAS, to the UN, and all the ambassadors, to the AU, to the ambassadors who are in Gambia, protesting about the banning Decree 89. And when the decree was lifted, we were happy to come together. And I initiated, with the assistance of Yaya Sise JLB Tafe, LK Jabang, LB Mboj, Keba Jawara, and so many other, Landing Jallow Sonko, of course, who was one of the strongest person to make sure the PPP is revived. We organized a meeting in Landing Jallow Sonko's home, and we decided to re-register the party. And then we wrote to Sadauda, and Sadauda wrote back. Keba Nanko will send you that letter also, where Sadauda proposed that in his absence, the committee should accept me as the acting secretary general and party leader to carry out the functions of the party on his behalf. This was done, and I applied to the IEC, and the IEC accepted when we fulfill all the conditions to register a political party, and then our party was registered. And that's how the PPP came back as a political party in Gambia. But before that, unfortunately, in 1996, when we were banned, our blue collar was taken over by the NRP because we were then banned, and then we cannot get our blue collar again. So we went for a hot pink collar.
That was my growing up. All I know is PPP is that blue. That blue, we try to match our uniform with that blue. So
that's why that's why I'm wearing blue for you today.
Yeah, yes. We need to negotiate that blue back. We need to negotiate that blue back. We need to negotiate. Okay. So for today's politics, in 2016, PPP, especially you, Honorable Jallow, you were part of the parties that created the coalition. The coalition. How did that started, and how did you get to be part of it?
You know, we thank you very much. We started to have try to have coalitions since 2005, I think, or 2006. Because we wanted to have a coalition in 2001. We had a meeting at the YMCA. Then they have just lifted the ban on the PPP and the NCP and the GPP. We went there, and unfortunately, the PPP was out to support Ousainou Darboe because he has already contested in 1996. And the ban was lifted less than 4 months before the elections. We, the PPP, thought that we should support him, give him a chance, and make sure we have serious agreements and conditionalities that should be respected by the coalition. Unfortunately, Sirif Diba and his people came and they wanted Sirif Diba to be the candidate. And when we voted, because the GPP and the PPP supported Ousainou Darboe, Amadou was not present and Doi was not present, so Sirif Diba walked out. So we had the GPP, PPP, UDP coalition. And it was a very good and successful coalition, although we cannot win the elections. Then again, in 2006, we tried a coalition again. And that time, also the PPP, as advised by Sadauda Kairaba Jawara, we didn't put up a candidate. We said we are going to support Ousainou Darboe of the UDP. And then Ahmad Ba, who was in coalition with the UDP in 2001, walked out and still supported PDOIS, and they went into a coalition and he became the candidate for the NRP PDOIS alliance. And we continued to be the coalition of the other parties behind Ousainou Darboe. Then 2011, fortunately for us, all of us met, and we were happy to have an agreement in 2011 that we are all going to be one together again. But unfortunately, it didn't come through. So we failed again. Sir Dauda said, the moment you are not united, you can never win. And I was saying it. Then in 2016, we came together, had a meeting, and we are happy, and I have here to thank and congratulate and commend Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang. Because in 2015, the New York diaspora Gambians invited us there. All the political parties, I was there, Amadou was there, and all the other parties are representatives. And the diasporans who have also invited us to Atlanta at another time, North Carolina, they were doing everything possible to bring us together. We have to thank the Gambians in the diaspora who helped to make sure Gambians gain their freedom and their liberty. So when we had the meeting in New York, at the end of the meeting, the last day, the chairman of the meeting appealed to us that when we come to Banjul, let us try to form an alliance again and see that this time, I said, for me, I think if you leave it with political parties, we can never, ever come together. We have tried in 2001 and failed, 2006 failed, 2011 failed. If we leave us with this, he said, then the PPP, what do you plan? I said, Mrs. Fatoumata Tambajang is here. She is not representing a party, but the women activists, the women of the Gambia, who are the majority of Gambia. I prefer that when we go back, we elect her as the chairperson to see how best she can bring the parties together and let us make sure we are together. That time, then when we came to Gambia, fortunately, we met the same idea with Doi, and Halifa was very, very, very active and very supportive for us to have the coalition. And even the first meeting that we had at Senegambia Hotel, Doi paid for the hall and not any other party. Unfortunately, when we came together, we agreed to come together. And while the discussion was going on, the Solo Sandeng case came up. And Solo Sandeng, unfortunately, was murdered. Then Usainu Dabo went out with his committee. They were arrested and put in prison. But still, we continued to discuss. And then when we discussed, we agreed, all the 7 parties and 3 oppositions, not Aïssatou Touré, the present vice president, Dr. Aïssatou Touré, and Buba Aïssane, and Mohamedou Magassi, who was a member of parliament for Basse, and Buba Sane, Buba Ai, MP for Birkama, and they were all independent when they won. They joined us, and we agreed that Fatoumata Tambajang will be the chair of the coordinating committee of the coalition, and Dembo by force Bojang, who was then the national president of the UDP, will be the deputy chairperson of the coalition committee, and Halifa Sallah will be the secretary general and spokesperson of the coalition. So we had our meetings, and we said now what we agreed, the coalition agreed on specific issues, that we are going to a Congress. And in that Congress, any party that you think you want to put up a candidate, come to the Congress. Put up your candidate. When your candidate wins, that candidate will contest on an independent ticket on behalf of the coalition of the 7 parties and the 3 independents. We agreed. When we went to this in Senegambia, to the commission, the UDP put up Adam Barrow, NRP put up Ahmad Ba, PDOIS put up Halifa Sallah, and the NCP put up Dr. Bojang. We, the PPP, We supported Amadou, and I talked to Mr. Gomez in Germany for his party to support Amadou, and we were able to make sure our candidate won. When he won, we all agreed, all of us who were there agreed. Therefore, he resigned from the UDP. We went and registered him as an independent candidate for coalition 2016. And that's how we won the elections. Unfortunately, at that time, Ousseynou and his executive were still in prison.
But when you supported President Barrow to be a candidate, we the Gambians were saying, well, Halifa Sallah was there, other qualified people were there. Why President Barrow?
What is the qualification for a president?
We didn't have none.
That's right.
As long as you are educated, yes.
Man, what I'm me really for my belief, there were so many developments in Africa before colonialism, and all those people have never went to Western schools.
Right. Okay.
You went to Keraba Avenue, up to Fajara. All those nice buildings are built by Sarahules and Fullers, who are business people who have never been to school. Leadership is not about school.
Okay.
It's about quality, honesty, dedication, commitment, truthfulness. That's what we need. And for me, one of the other areas is I didn't want us to reject the UDP and then they come and refuse to join us again. Then I will prefer anybody from UDP to be better than the IHM. That's why I supported them. Because sometimes if we didn't elect the UDP candidate, they will refuse to join the coalition.
During that time, was there any difficulty getting candidates? Because most people were afraid of Jammeh. Was there any difficulties to come up with candidates?
No, I don't think all parties put up their candidates. Khalifa stood for Doi, Amadou stood for NRP, and Dr. Bojang stood for NCP, and Adama Barrow stood for UDP. And they all supported it. What is important is not the leader. What is important is let the leader knows that he has to listen to the team around him. That's why even in religion, God has never brought a prophet without disciples. There is no single human being that is perfect, whether you are educated or you are not educated. So that's what I said, that any leader, irrespective of who, if you listen to good advice and don't allow people to glorify you and make you a god, you will always succeed. But we Africans, we put up chiefs, alcalis, MPs, members of party leaders, presidents, we glorify them and make them gods. At the end of the day, they own the party, own the people. That's why there is a lot of failures. We should learn from those mistakes.
So what happened to the coalition? Because...
Well, the coalition, I have said many times, when Ousseynou and his group were released from prison, he went on the air in the newspapers and said that anybody who talks about the 3 years, even Adama Barrow, he will take you to court. So, and then at that time, we all know that Adama Barrow, inside him, he was UDP. There's no doubt about that. And then when the parliamentary elections were coming, I discussed with some of my colleagues and I said, let us go into this parliamentary election as a coalition, because at least the coalition is supposed to be 3 years. And within that 3 years, we have the presidential, parliamentary, and the council election. Let us make sure, and this is going to be a transition. We went to a meeting, but unfortunately, what Ousseynou came, he said he was not going to be part of the coalition in any of these parliamentary or council meetings. His party is going to stand on its own and can go into technical collation with other parties. And the president supported the motion of Ousainou Darboe. And then we said, let us put it to a vote. When the president said, those who vote for what Ousainou said, most of the people, party leaders, raised their hands. He said, those against, I raised my hand. Halifa was the only one who abstained. So it was true. So that's why I went to Latrikunda, Yiringanya, at the big tree and make a rally and said, for me, for the progress and development of Gambia and peace of Gambia, if they tell me to at that time when I was party leader, to deregister PPP, I will deregister PPP, because for me, Gambia is far more important than a party. You can never have a party without a country. You can never be a leader without a party. So the country is far more important than all the parties put together and all the leaders put together. That's what brought down the coalition.
Do you think we still have another feature to create another coalition?
Well, yes. This time,
there be a possibility?
There is a possibility, because in all countries you have coalitions. It is left to those who are making the to be sincere and honest to themselves, to have credibility. Because I didn't think, as elders, as people look up to us, not only for leadership, but for genuine guidelines, honest guidance, to say one thing today and say something else tomorrow. That's it.
Yes.
Whenever we are going to intercoalitions now, let us make sure we have written agreements signed and legalized, like what Senegal did.
But which parties do you think PPP will join? Will consider joining
PPP, we are still part of the coalition. We are still part of Adama Barrow's government. People were angry when I was removed as a minister. I didn't go into the coalition because I wanted to be a minister. If it was only money and position, I'll stay in the UN, because I was paid nearly $5,000 a month. That is apart from my allowances in the UN. I am in politics for Gambia and for the interests of Gambians. That is why when I was removed, I bought drinks. Anybody who comes to my house, I serve you drinks. I say, I'm happy. Now I'm going to relax. I won't get up 7 in the morning to take breakfast to go to an office. Now I'll sleep. But still, I'm going to be part of PPP, because James Gomez, who is still the Minister of Fisheries and Water, is a PPP. I was not in the coalition because of I want to be a member of parliament. No. Or I want to be a minister. No. I was in the coalition to remove a dictator and to see to the development, peace, and stability of Gambia.
Thank you. Most Gambians are still saying that, well, we are disappointed with Barrow government. Are you part of us?
No, I am not.
The people that are saying they are disappointed.
I want them to tell me what they think he should have done that he has not done. Because just to give you few examples, no government in the Gambia has ever increased the salaries of workers by 10%. He increased it by 50%. The URR, in our 53 years admin, has never had a college. Now they have an operating college in the URR. We never had a bridge between Basse and Sandu. They are now building a bridge. We have never had a bridge between Kantora and Wuli. We are now having a bridge. The road that was made there, Basse Fatoto, by PPP, he's rehabilitating now and building a better road. And the Kolikunda and the road that was made there, it was started by the PPP. The PPP built the Pasamas Road. But it was then just a road that was not tarred. We bridged the Sami Bridge. Yaya Jammeh came, built about 40 kilometers. And Amadou came, completed the 131 kilometers. We have seen in Kiang and Jara. How many ministers have come from Kiang and Jara and they don't have water, electricity? In the last 53 years. Vice President from Kiang, how many years? They don't have electricity. How many roads are now being built in Banjul as the capital? Nyomi, Hakalang Road has never been built. How many ministers were from Nyomi? From Jokadu? From Badibu? All these things I think should be taken into consideration. I agree that there is no government or that no president or head of state that can complete the job of a country. If that was the case, there will be no opposition in America, in England, or in Germany, or France, or Japan, or all these developed countries. I agree to that. But I think let us make sure we did it with honesty and with sincerity and with no prejudice. Let us say about things that we think he should do and he has not done. Then we say how best we can advise him to do it, even if we are opposition. That's why we need an opposition to tell the government, you should have done this and you didn't do it. But he didn't do anything. But tell me, what has he not done that you have told him that he has promised you that he will do it and he didn't do? Look at the schools. How many schools are being built now? You know? Let them tell the people, not just against Adama Barrow. This is Adama Barrow. It's a government. Adama Barrow cannot run the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. He cannot run the Ministry of Information. It's a teamwork. If you have anything, go to all any of these ministers and tell them what you feel.
What do you think about the failed constitutional draft?
Well, for me, I've already told them areas, because I have gone to the CRC when they came to Serekunda. They had it in Kanifing, opposite the St. Teresa's Church. And I told them I couldn't understand how can anybody be born in Gambia and you are not a Gambian. When I've seen my sisters, my daughters, my friends, my families going to America and getting a baby there, and within 3 months when they are coming back, the baby has an American passport. I've seen people, I've already told them that one of my best friend and childhood friends, classmate for 6 years, for the Jajusi, came to Gambia here as a refugee from Yaya Jammeh's terror, has his papers, contested elections and won as a councillor for Hayes and Harlington. I've seen Yaya Sister's son contest elections as a mayor in America and won. Bachambajai in Norway, and so many others. Why can't we Africans not accommodate each other? And I have told them that I cannot understand why a president cannot have powers to appoint ministers. Why do you have that in the world, in Africa? I have a lot of questions in a lot of areas of the Constitution. Because you cannot give a judge more importance than the president. When you want to dismiss a judge, you need 2/3 of parliament. But when you want to impeach a president, you need a simple majority. And why should a judge receive salary when he's retired? Why not a doctor? Why not a nurse? Why not an engineer? We should discuss all those things. A constitution should be a constitution that will strengthen the 3 tiers of government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, but not removing powers from one of these and empowering it into one over the other. They should be equal. Each of them should enjoy their powers and make sure the government has a governance programs with respect to the rule of law and respect to the 3 tiers of government.
Our sisters and brothers, Christians, They were
Sorry?
also, I said, our brothers, our family, our Christian families, they said they were not protected in that new draft too. And I saw you talking about that. Can you educate us on what you were saying about that too?
Yes, I said it there. For me, I think we as Muslims have to learn from the wisdom of God. God could have bring all prophets to be the richest people in the world, to be the most educated people in the world, to be the most powerful people in the world. But our prophet, from a poor family, became an orphan at a very early age, brought up by an uncle who was very poor, and the prophet was rearing cattle and sheep, who married her. A woman saw her, employed her, married her. When he was becoming a prophet, people who hated him most was the people where he was born, where his father and grandfathers and grandmothers were born, the people of Mecca. He has to migrate to Medina. There was not one Muslim in Medina. There were Christian and Jews. They accommodated him, and he lived with them. And when he wanted assistance, he was advised to go to Abyssinia. Abyssinia is our present Ethiopia. To the king. He sent his delegation there. That king was not only the king of Abyssinia, but the head of the church. And he helped those delegations of the prophet. If the prophet can be accommodated, can be accepted, can be assisted by Jews and Christians, why should we not follow the same trend? Particularly in the Quran, when they said the three most important books that you should believe in. If not, you are not a believer. Is the Torah, Linjin, and the Quran. The Torah is the book of Moses. Linjin is the book of Christ. Quran is the book of Muhammad. So for me, I believe in what God tells me. That respect each other's values, views, and beliefs and aspirations. That is why our prophet has advised that don't insult anybody's religion, because then you insulted me. Because if that man insults you, that means you insulted me. That's why we should avoid religious discrimination, tribal discrimination. These are things which start violent things in countries, and Gambia has been one of the most peaceful. And if, for example, in Banjul, in the early 90s, about 25% of the population were Christians. Now it's 5%. Those people are not angry. Why should we Muslims be angry? When we were the people gaining. Now every Friday, you go to any mosque, people are converting. That is why I said that I am against anything that will bring discrimination between us. So that's why I thought that anything that brings discrimination against Muslims and Christians should not be in the Constitution. The Constitution should be made to make sure it respects all religions and make sure all people who belong to those religions are treated equally and fairly under the law.
Thank you. We have the new we have the budget, the 2021 budget next year. It's in Parliament. It's a little bit high, 22 billion. Uncle Oye, that was a little bit too much. So, but the reason I'm bringing that up is we the Gambians, since I'm the one presenting the question to you, I will include myself. We said that amount of money is too much. Do you think we need that 22 billion as our budget? Is the
22 billion?
Yes, dollars.
Okay, I have not seen the budget, but depending on what they are going to use it for. If they are going to use it for the interest of the Gambian people, then it's good.
But the amount
so I don't know, because I've not seen the budget. Because when they were doing it in Parliament, I was already in England here.
Right.
I have not seen it. But what I'm saying is, if they are going to use it for the benefit and interest of the Gambian people, then we should support it.
Okay.
But if they are not going to use it for the interest and benefit of the Gambian people, it should not be supported.
It should not be supported.
Because parliaments, presidents, ministers, everybody elected to any position of authority, the civil servants appointed, should be working for the Gambian people, because they are there for the Gambia to see to the progress and development of the Gambia as a nation, and nothing else. So everything you are doing, Gambia takes priority. Gambia comes first.
The agriculture sector, the amount they put there was 402 million. So, and Gambia depend on agriculture. We think that the amount they put there, even though you didn't see the thing yet, but agriculture, the farmers, Jammeh's time gave them tractors. But Barrow now, they have confiscated those tractors and they are giving them farm animals, like the donkeys and other animals. We think that we are going backwards. We are not going forward. If you take tractor from a farmer and give them donkeys, so we will need you to chip in on this part.
Yes, agriculture, the Cotonou agreement should be respected. That not less than 10% of every budget of the ECOWAS region should go to agriculture. There is no department or ministry that is more important than agriculture in Gambia, because Gambia, 73% of the population or 65% of the population are farmers. That majority, that vast majority of people are more important than anything else. And that Cotonou agreement was agreed by all the heads of states of ECOWAS, that at least minimum 10% of the budget should go into agriculture. The tractors that were taken, Yaya Jammeh gave it to not to the farmer, but to his supporters. That is why the agricultural production didn't increase, irrespective of all the tractors. You go to the Lumos, you go anywhere, they are there doing business, taking goods for people. But what I said, I condemn the selling of those tractors. They should not have been sold. They should have been given back to the farmer organizations, because all farmers in the Gambia have organizations. And if they had given it to the farmer organizations, that would have been very, very good. Because when I became agriculture minister, one of the things I first did was to go to the FAO and beg them. And we took 30 power tillers to Jahali Pachar, and 5 tractors, and a double cabin vehicle, and some bicycles for the farmers. Because, and I was preparing to make sure cotton becomes again, and we give assistance to those cotton holders. That's why I make sure fertilizer comes in months before the rainy season, so that it will be in the farmers' hands before the farming season. This all have started, and it was going on. I said, those tractors, if they are sold, they are going to rent it to the farmers, and the farmers have no money to rent those tractors. They will use their bigger money. But if they were given to farmer organizations, that would have been better than selling them. I don't agree to selling those tractors.
We have kept you for a while. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so excited. Hey, everybody that came in late, we have Honorable OJ Jallow here. Today, he gave us his time, and we appreciate the time. Our final question, before you advise us on anything, what is your own assessment of these 3 faces of Gambia? Sadauda, Jammeh, and Barrow today.
Well, nobody can challenge Sadauda. Gambia is Gambia today thanks to Sadauda. That alone, nobody. If not, we are now Senegalese. Of course, Sadauda brought independence, brought republican status to us, and he was the only African leader who respected human rights, rule of law, and good governance. We are the only one in West Africa with a multi-party democracy. where Southerners candidates were losing. Just to give you 1992 elections, Keba Jawara lost Upper Fulad West. Keba Jawara's father is the elder brother of Sadauda. We lost in Dankunku. That's where Sadauda's mother comes from. We lost in Nyani, where the candidate there was Sadauda's nephew. The wife, the mother is a sister of Sadauda. We lost in Fonyi East, BLK Sanyang, who was one of the veterans. And we lost in okay, MC Cham lost, one of the veterans of the PPP. He lost in Tumanda. Which president can you imagine? And then for the example, MC Cham went to court, challenged the results and won. And there was by-election. Do you know what happened? The man won him with more votes than during the elections. At that time, we have already got a sitting government of Sadauda. No government in the Gambia can challenge what has Sadauda brought to Gambia. He made every Gambian a sovereign citizen of a nation. Without him, we would have been a second-hand citizens of Senegal. And then thirdly, I forgot, Banjul. When we were having independence, the Denton Bridge was a one-way street. They will allow 5 vehicles from Serekunda. I was there riding my bicycle, going to school, and then stop them 5 vehicles. Sadauda built the first Oyster Creek Bridge, that's the one that is broken now. Then he now built the highway from Banjul to Yundum. The present bridge was built by Sadauda. And the road up to Yundum, and then from Yundum to Basse. He built the Bruman Bridge, the Pakaliba Bridge. Because before independence, at the Bruman Bridge, there was a ferry that closes at 7. When you are going to Basse, it takes you 3 days. And then the Jahali Konko, where a lot of people died, a lot of accidents, because of the high, and it was gravel. Sadauda built the road and cut the hill down. And you can take your breakfast in Banjul, lunch in Basse, and dinner in Banjul. This was all done by Sadauda's government. So many other things. That is why I think from where we met the Gambia and where we took Gambia, all Gambians should honor and appreciate and commend Sadauda what he did for. That is why I thought that all these political parties, what I'm saying is, we are all from different generations. My generation is quite different from my father's generation. My father's generation is different from that. But in Europe and America, people know that. So what they do is they join institutions and organizations and parties established by people of those generations and bring their own ideas and change the ideas because of the new generation. But in Africa, nobody wants to follow. Everybody wants to be followed. How can America, the most developed country in the world, have 2 parties? How can England, the first country to introduce multi-party democracy, have 3 parties? Germany 3, France 3. We in Africa, 50 parties, 20 parties, 16 parties. For what? Because everybody thought that you should not be followed. Or you should not follow. They should follow you. What I'm saying is, when you are coming into politics, don't come for yourself. Bring your ideas so that we can all sit together and work together to make sure those ideas benefit the Gambian people and not you. Period.
Thank you. So we're gonna let you go.
Thank you.
Do you have any final advice for us? The election is coming 2021. Do you have any advice?
Yes, what I will advise people is that I will appeal to them strongly as an elder politician that Gambia is one family. Let politics divide us or make us enemies. We are one people, one nation, one destiny. And that destiny is to make Gambia peaceful, progressive, and up the hill, so that everybody will be proud to call yourself a Gambian. All these things, terrible things that I hear on social media, insults, please let it stop. We are not enemies. We are partners. We are friends. But we can have different beliefs. For me, most of my best friends in life up to today are Christians. If we can be friends, on Sunday they go to their churches, they come, we have lunch together. On Friday, I go to my mosque, we have lunch together. Why can't? That is why when I was a member of parliament in Serekunda, everybody knows me. When the NCP has something, not political rally, but like Christian marriage ceremonies, funerals, I'm there. Always. Because I think we are all together in this. I want all Gambians to behave that way, to see politics as that we are all partners. You can remember that when I was making the eulogy at the funeral of Sir Dawda,
Yes.
I said the political parties are the rivers, and the Gambia is the ocean, and all rivers flow to the ocean. And the moment you make those rivers to be toxic, the ocean is destroyed. That is why we as political leaders, let us sit together and tell our supporters that we as people, as a country, don't belong to one tribe or one religion. We belong to a nation, and that nation is called the Gambia. That is why me, when I was the leader of the PPP, I tell all the supporters that if I hear anybody insult on the social media, I will go public and send you a letter, and you will be dismissed from the party. And I believe in that. We should be, the leaders should be people to guide, because Gambia has been peaceful. We bless God and we thank God for that. And that should continue. Particularly for the young people, I appeal to all of you. The future belongs to you. Take the destiny of this country into your own hands and make sure when you take this destiny, it will be in peace, progress, and prosperity for not only the young people, but generations unborn. Thank you very much. And I've been to thank
Yes.
you. I thank you very much and congratulate you for all what you are doing for the benefit of the Gambia.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle Oji. Thank you.
And
Oh,
say
we
hello to
have to
your
let
dad
him.
for me.
Okay, okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
give him a shout out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Uncle. Thank you. Woo, we had a good class. What do you guys
Thank you
think?
very much.
Thank you, Uncle Oje. Thank you. Bye. Oh, can you guys call me Blessing? I am so blessed. So my name changed to what? Blessing. Um, Binto Bantaba community, as usual. This platform is for education. And we are so lucky and blessed to have these elderly people, veterans, legends. You can agree or disagree, but they have done their work. As you watching or listening young, what is your plan for the country? Would you be able to do anything for your people? Would you be able to do anything for your country when you grow older, like Uncle OJ today? He's here telling us that he was the agriculture minister. He was the minister of fisheries. What are you going to be? Ask yourself. What can we do to contribute to our community, to our society, to our country? We should ask ourselves that, and we should work towards that. Another person will be a politician. One will be a doctor. Another one will be a teacher. Another person will be a singer. I could be a dancer. Well, I wish I can dance. I wish. You don't want to see me move it. Drop it like it's hot. Maybe you will put it on the constitution, no dancing. No, that's it. But what I'm trying to say here is, as Gambians, young Gambians, we have a lot of opportunity. I'm here. I can talk to you everywhere, every part of this world. Uncle Oje, their time, they don't have that opportunity. They didn't have internet. But they work hard. What a difference can we make together? We can educate each other. We can maintain that respect and have them come to us. We are so lucky they can come to us. He's in England right now, but he came to us and talked to us. We are blessed. That's why I'm telling y'all, you call me blessed because I'm sitting here. When I call them on the phone, these leaders will come running. No problem, anytime. Last week we had Fabakari, Honorable Fabakari. We had so many honorables on this, different from the young people that come and talk to us. Our brothers. I haven't seen the sisters yet, but we'll get to them. Let's make a difference together. And I appreciate everybody taking all the time coming here, listening to a sister that is not educated or anything. But you listen to these simple words I have. That's why I said I will invite you too to come here and give us your ideas. So I appreciate everybody taking all the time watching us. Even you miss us, you come back and watch. We cannot do without you, but we have to do it with respect. If you think this is not the right platform for you, you cannot afford, you have other issues, you cannot afford to be respectful, we forgive you, you can be on the side. You don't have to come and join us. We always say respect because that's our motto. When we decided to come up with this platform, we say respect. Thank y'all. When I see our text, I get so happy, I get even emotional. Especially we have Honorable O.J. Jallow today. You never know who else we're going to bring. Tell your political leaders they are welcome on this platform. Tell them that we are open for them to come. We want the politicians to come and educate us. You could be a smart politician in your own territory. You're not teaching people out there. We will not know what message you have. Tell them to come. If you feel that you have a message yourself, contact us, inbox us. Even though our schedule is busy, since we have only one day in a week, which is Sunday, we will figure it out. Let's work together. We can make a difference together. I love y'all. I love y'all. So let's play some music. Yes. Yes, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Please share us. Like our page. You follow it. If you're on YouTube, subscribe us. You never know. You might forget one Sunday and it comes ding, 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 ding. Important message. Yes. They say my mic was too low. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. We are done. I love y'all. I'm going to play this music for y'all. Woo-wee. I enjoyed the class today. Thank you, Uncle OJ. We appreciate you. Sorry, Uncle OJ was having trouble hearing me. Maybe my mouth was too low. Sorry, Thank you. He's a legend. Thank you, Mandy. Local language, sometimes some people have trouble hearing that Mandinka, but we'll try to bring it again, okay? Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, thanks. Thank you. Sanko. Maro, PDIS. Go get them for me. Thank you. Get them for me. Yes, we'll get him back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's not nice, Gambia. Lavin, Toure, thank you. Thank you. Mother Ann, you are the class prefect. Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you. We'll try to bring them next. Reach out to them for us. Okay, we will. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sadauda, too. Thank you, Sadauda. May you rest in peace. Yes. You worked hard for us. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Bye.